All right, I think we're live.
Um,
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh. All right, so sorry everyone. Just give us a minute because we had some technical difficulties earlier. Yeah, just hold on a second. All right, cool. Is everyone okay? I need to know if this is public. Let's see. All right, okay, yes, and we are live. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, hi everyone. So sorry for the delay. This is Green Nudge's first time doing a podcast online on Facebook, and we're really excited but nervous at the same time. Totally new, a technical glitch is gonna happen. It's always like that for events. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
oh my gosh.
those online ones. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome to our first Facebook Live discussion. My name is Claire, and I'll be your host for today's topic. So, if you all realize someone is not here, I know that many of you are very familiar with this person called Lee Sing. He's the founder of Green Nudge, aka Green Boss, but he's not here today. That's because we're gonna discuss on the topic of what's it like interning at a green startup. Yeah. So first, uh, yeah, okay. So first, we're gonna talk about what's it like in a green startup, particularly for Green Nudge. And therefore, joining us today is our two interns, Esther,
Hello.
yeah, and Brian.
Hello.
All right. So, actually, when we first posted when we first announced this talk session, um, we actually received questions of like, why are we doing this? Like, why so random, right? Like, why suddenly we're talking about this? And actually, we felt that because due to the increasing awareness of the climate crisis around the world and in Singapore, we're noticing that a lot of youths are actually gaining interest in the sustainability field. And not only that, many youths are also being more adventurous and going beyond the traditional routes in their career journeys by actually trying out startups. So we thought of just like giving you guys a sneak peek, a glimpse of what's it like to work in a startup in case any of you are very curious. Yeah. So not only that, actually, as I mentioned, because Brian and Esther are interns, they are unfortunately leaving us soon. Yeah, and
No.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, so we just felt like doing this topic was quite appropriate at this time also because like we just wanted to conclude their time and to also hear from them on what they've learned so far during their time at Green Nudge and to also share with you guys their experience. However, I'd like to caveat to everyone out there that whatever that Brian and Esther share later on, it's only representative of Green Nudge. And we're not here to represent all the startups, all organizations, or any HR firms out there in Singapore. Everything here is just a very casual chat based on our own experiences and observations in Green Nudge. Yeah. Also, I hope I don't disappoint anyone out there, but this is unfortunately not a prelude to any call out for interns, unfortunately, because just to be really upfront with you guys, that Greenash is still affected by COVID-19, and as much as we would love to have more interns on board with us, we can't do so very soon. Yeah. But yeah, not just yet. And however, we may be open to some ad hoc roles in the near future that's geared to doing more online work. Yeah, so do look out for those call outs if you're still keen to get on board with us. Yep. Last but not least, if you guys have any questions during discussion, feel free to put it in your comments below. Yeah, and we'll try our best to answer them during our discussion.
Yes.
So without further ado, let's start. So Esther and Brian, can you just share with us what your role is and why did you choose to intern at a green startup and how did you end up with Green Nudge?
Should I go first?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go first then. What's my role in Green Nudge? In name, it is sales intern, but I think it's Chapalang intern.
Why?
You're gonna do everything. Yeah, so that's my role in Green Edge. Why did I choose green startup? Okay, it is linked to my course of study because I study geography, just like Claire. And in class, we always talked about the problems and solutions to environmental problems. Wrote tons of paper critiquing all the solutions and talk about the problems, but we never got to be in the action of implementing it. And I was also very focused on individual actions of changing my lifestyle to become more environmentally friendly. And I began to ask myself, how could I impact things on a greater level? So I interned in a public agency as well as NGO. So I figured that the next best thing is probably a startup because it's like something like in between both of it. Yeah. And also like the financial sustainability of a startup in tackling like a pressing issue in the world made it very attractive to me. So I was like, it was very interesting because normally in NGOs, we all rely on maybe like charity donations and everything. So being in a startup, the financial sustainability really was like a drawing point for me. Yeah. So that's that. And how did I end up in Green Nudge? Actually, I applied to Green Nudge during my summer break. But according to the boss, my applications got lost in like the midst of like a lot of applicants.
Ouch.
And then they never got to mine. But then like it's so funny because like they hired me right in the winter break. And then Lee Sing suddenly, hey Esther, you applied before eh? Then I was just like, yeah. Then he started reading my resume out loud. Then I was like, so it was like quite interesting because I applied the second time under the encouragement of a friend. Shout out to Wan Qing because she told me that there was this intern position at Greenwich. Then I was like, wow, sales very no experience, and then I have to sell stuff to people. Then I was hesitant, but she encouraged me to try it. So I just figured that there's nothing to lose and applied for it. Yeah, so that's my journey of how I end up in Greenwich.
All right, cool. So I guess maybe the sales, the term sales is a bit intimidating, is it, to some of you guys out there?
Yeah, because the only thing that I sell before is like soup. So, like, I don't know what you guys will tell me to sell, right? So I was like, I don't know whether I can do it or not. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so we got some feedback on that. Also just wanted to shout out to everyone out there that I think when we put out like our call previously when we put out a call out for sales, intern is not really a very sales kind of role per se. It's just a name. But of course, later you will just hear later on what Brian and Esther to share what exactly their role entailed. And so Brian, how about you? Could you share with us why you decided to intern at Green Nudge and how do you end up with us?
All right. So for me, my role is also just like Esther. I'm a sales intern, and I was second her opinion that it's a very chapalang role.
Right.
Yes. So I think we will elaborate on on that later. So maybe I will just describe why did I choose Green Nudge. So for me, I was like very attuned to the fact that change is brought about by large-scale campaigns or policies led by the government. So after I completed my NS while waiting to go to uni, I wanted to take this time to find out about the changes which is brought about by small scale grant out initiatives led by the community instead. So I wanted to find out the contrast. What is it like? Yeah. So furthermore, because I noticed that our newspaper and social media is always filled with updates about what big MNCs, what the government does. So I found it that it's going to be very interesting to find out the hidden world of startups. So that's why I chose to come to Greenwich, which is also a startup. Yeah, so actually there's a very interesting story behind how I end up in Greenwich. So actually 2 years before I joined Greenwich, I met Lee Seng at a very random event. So I remember that this event was actually organized by my senior in school, and she asked me to join lah. So I just went to show my support. And there was a group activity during the event, and I was like in the same group with Lee Sing. So that's how we started chatting, got to know each other, and we even exchanged Facebook contacts. Yeah, so then,
Wow.
yeah. So fast forward 2 years later, I was looking for an internship after NS, and while I was searching for it on an internship platform called Intern SG, I came across Green Nudge. While I was researching on this, I realized Lee Seng is the founder. So I was shocked, like, oh my gosh, I know this
Friends with
guy.
the founders already.
Yes. Yeah. So I immediately contacted him via Facebook. So after that, I went for the interview and I got accepted. So yep, that's how I end up in Green Nudge.
Yay! Cool.
Woohoo.
Wow, not bad. Facebook friends with the boss already before coming into Green Nudge.
I'm not even friends with him on Facebook.
Oh no.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys, for sharing how you end up here with us. So as Esther and Brian, they both shared that they are our sales intern. However, their experiences are actually quite different. Reason being is because Esther actually came on board with us much earlier in November last year. And so this was before the COVID-19 period. Whereas for Brian, Brian actually came in in February, yes, in February this year. And that was actually when things started to get a little bit more serious with regards to COVID-19. So could you both of you just share like your experiences and how different were they? And what are the lessons that you've learned since interning with us?
Should I go first again?
That's
Or Brian, you want to go first?
No lah, mine is after COVID, so we follow the flow.
Okay.
Take it chronologically. Yes.
Okay, so I'll share my experience at Green Nudge. I'm a sales intern. We handle inquiries from corporates or the communities who want to work with us for our different activities like cleanups or composting workshops or whatsoever, green talks as well. So we help to liaise with them and to make sure that everything goes smoothly on the day itself as well. So we help with the operations as well. And I helped a bit with marketing with Clare, some design, writing as well, because I told Lee that I wanted to improve in my writing. So he actually gave me the chance to write a little bit when I'm with Green Nudge. And yeah, that's generally what I did. I came into Green Nudge during the peak period when they had the collaboration with Standard Chartered Marathon. It was one of the biggest events. Yeah, and it was honestly quite intense during that period. No kidding. Yeah. We had it was very cool because I really like working outdoors. So being at the beach cleanups and everything, we're always outdoors. Workshops, it's also kind of we have to travel all around. And the Standard Chartered Marathon, we were definitely outdoors. It was quite tiring because we had to stay overnight at the place. I was like, wow, this is my first time at a work and I have to stay overnight. It was quite a foreign concept. Yeah. So that's my experiences. It has been really exciting to be part of the action in trying to help to inculcate sustainability culture in the community as well as in corporates. And I think you talked about lessons, right? So one lesson that I've learned is that I think being with Green Nudge allowed me to witness the entire ecosystem of our environmental landscape. And so as an individual, when I was trying to figure out what I can do, I get drowned out with very different opinions from very different people, different narratives framed in very different ways, as well as different marketing materials telling you what to do as an environmentalist. And I struggled to see how the entire landscape came together or operated. And I couldn't see my role in it. But being in Green Nudge, we are able to work with the corporates as well as the communities, and I get to witness a lot of the pain points of different stakeholders in this environmental scene. I begin to understand why maybe recycling in the context of Singapore is challenging because of certain reasons, and I couldn't have known that if I wasn't in Green Nudge. And Yeah, so after a while, I gradually saw how I fit into that whole landscape, and it made me think about my future career trajectory as well. So, do I want to set up my own startup to alongside Greenwich in this same field and to tackle the environmental issues, or do I want to continue working in a green startup, or do I want to help to accelerate the impact and scale of businesses that are already creating positive and social environmental impacts? So it was crucial in making me think about my future career paths. Yeah, so I think that was one of the quite quite important lessons for me that I learned from Greenwich.
Wow, that's really really something, and I'm really really glad that to hear that this is what like being Green Arch has opened your eyes to the landscape and showing how interconnected it is. It also is also an eye opening for myself as well
That's right.
since I joined Green Arch. Um, cool. All right. Yes. So Brian, how about yourself? Like now that Esther has shared her life before COVID, how about you? How was your life at Green Arch under COVID?
Special
Yeah,
edition.
so my experience is totally different from Esther's. Yeah, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was very unique and definitely not what I expected lah.
Mm,
So just to be frank, COVID-19 like caused most of our clients to like either cancel or postpone their group activities with us. So this like kind of made up the bulk of the stuff that we do. So there wasn't really much like sales for me to follow through. So mostly they are just like inquiries, then like it kind of stopped there. So for me, I didn't get to go for most of the activities, like for example, our beach cleanups or workshops. Yeah,
yeah.
so but one thing I was really appreciative of is like the team did help me to organize like uh kind of a trial activity internally. So they brought me to a mock beach cleanup and a mock workshop to like kind of describe to me like how is it like uh if there's one without a COVID. So like the intention was like for me to get a real kind of a real experience, you know. So like it really shows like how in a startup like Green Nudge, like the team like do care for each other and like look out for one another. Yeah, so besides this, like since there's no sales for me to do, so I was assigned to a lot of other roles. So like what I said is a chapalang sales intern. Yes. So like I did a lot of other things, like for example, research on like social impact measurement. Then since we are located at Bedok itself, so I was tasked to also research a bit on Bedok. And I even was tasked to go and collect soap, used bar soap from the hotels, because at one stage we were also testing out uh, a new workshop to convert used bar soap into new bar soap lah. Yeah, so I didn't expect to do all these things, like yeah, even with but with COVID-19, like all these things just happen to be assigned to me. So don't worry, there will always be things for you to do in a startup.
It's
Yes.
so true. Oh my
For
gosh.
sure. We'll be
Yeah.
glad to give you time.
You never run out of things to do.
Yeah. Mm. Also, another point is I got to learn a lot of like day-to-day skills along the way. So these skills are usually like very simple, but like really undervalued skills that are not really taught in the school curriculum officially. So like some examples are like, how do you use Excel? How do you format your reports? And during the course of my internship, I was also introduced to various online tools. Like for example, we were using Asana, which is a project management tool.
Yeah.
So I also learned a lot of like communication skills with people like outside of your circle. So for example, when I went to collect the soap from the hotels, I had to like liaise with the hotel staff on like where should I meet them, what time should I like go and collect from them. So it's actually very simple. I just have to WhatsApp them, but the tone of it and how I wrote it was like something which mattered lah. And I feel like
Yeah.
only experiences will teach you how to do it lah.
Mm.
Yeah. And actually, I have one final point, which is very, very interesting. and totally unexpected. Yeah, so because we are a small startup, we kind of don't really need like a whole building to ourselves. So we are
Mm.
actually located at a co-working space called the Common Ground in Bedok. So it's actually the old Bedok Library. Yeah, but now it's converted into a co-working space. And there are a lot of other social enterprises, startups in that area. So other startups, they are focusing on a lot of like various other issues. So since they are our neighbors, I got to the opportunity to talk with the people from the other social enterprises in the area and got to like know what they're doing, all that. So for example, a shout out to Society Staples.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Our
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, so they are really good neighbors. And I actually attended like some of the activities and discussion sessions. And from there, I got to learn like what they do, their perspectives. So Society Staples is a social enterprise which like focus on like problems in the society, societal problems lah, and inclusion in strive to um, bring about inclusivity in the society. So actually, I
Yeah.
got to learn more about their perspective on social issues in Singapore through the activities I joined with them. So yeah, I got to learn beyond what I signed up for. I only signed up to learn more about the environmental sector, but along the way, I also learned about the social landscape. Yeah, so it really broadened my perspective through this like kind of unexpected opportunities and along the way during this interesting internship lah. Yeah.
Holistic experience.
Yes.
Really,
Cover
really
all grounds.
Yeah.
going
Actually, I
beyond.
think without COVID, right, I wouldn't have this chance because like then we'll be so busy with our own activities. Yeah. So yep, this is a silver lining.
Yes, that's really true. So Brian, I know that like after this internship you'll be going on to university, right? So maybe could you share like have like do you feel that these skills that you've learned is applicable really help you through in university?
Yes, I think how it will impact my path in university is the way I approach my studies in uni will change definitely. So at first, before this internship, I was only like very aware and very focused on environmental stuff. So at first, my trajectory in uni will be just to focus on environmental issues and all only in that area lah. But after
Yeah.
I attended all these different activities with society staples, and I got to learn more about the social issues,
Mm.
I realized like there's room for me to explore this other like area. So not just environment, but there's also a lot of other interesting like stuff to explore out there. So I think for me, when I go uni, I will definitely include want to explore like the social stuff, social issues, and on top of the environmental stuff lah. So yep, that's how
I
it
think
will change
Society
me.
Staples will be very proud of you.
If they're tuning in as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, I think also I just actually I this came to mind and I want to do a shout out here. Since that Brian has mentioned his experience with society staples and how he noticed that the environment and society can definitely work hand in hand. And I just want to give a shout out to Society Staples Good Food for Community Initiative. I think they're really doing a great job and they are basically I think you guys should really check out their initiative because what happened is that they actually engage with Three Dots, and if some of you in the green community might know, Three Dots actually helps to reduce food waste and actually salvage them and tries to resell them at a much cheaper price to other organizations, etc. And so Three Dots was actually very heavily involved in this initiative. And I would like to invite everyone here who's tuning in to just go and check out their initiative because they actually managed to feed quite a lot of people and raise and right now they need to raise funds for this initiative. So I think all our experience also have showed that reducing food waste, helping the environment can definitely go hand in hand in helping society as well. Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, so I just wanted to share that, and do go and check out their Facebook and check out their initiative as well. Yeah,
Yes, go support them.
exactly. Yes. All right. Okay, so thank you guys for sharing. There was really quite a lot of input, and it's very interesting that because both, despite being sales intern, which seems like it wasn't really, majority sales. I guess maybe this also to highlight that maybe like this obviously is not representative of all startups, but it
Yeah.
also goes to show that in a startup your role might become flexible, and what we do require people when they join us as interns is to be flexible as well, and to be open-minded to whatever task that comes your way, and who knows where you go, and who knows what you learn as well along the way.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. And okay. And sorry. So yes, we did receive a question. Thank you, for this individual who actually asked us a question on our Google form. Basically, she asked like, what would help her increase her chances of getting an internship at a green startup. This is a really good question, and I'm sure it's a burning question for a lot of people out there. So I think I will answer this question because obviously I was the one who interviewed Brian and Esther.
Yes.
She kind of like hired us.
Yes.
Yeah, so okay, so just to share, I think just now earlier Brian did mention how he got into Green Nudge, and that was actually basically just by chance. It's honestly just by attending an event, out of interest, I would say. Uh, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
out of
also like it was quite lucky lah, because I was there to support my senior also.
yeah. So supporting friends help too.
Yeah.
Always
But
support
yeah.
your friends.
Yes. So yeah, based on his sharing, right, I think the saying goes that having connections, really do help. It does help because when you meet people wherever you go, you form a first impressions, and therefore first impressions really do matter. Um, Also, I wanted to highlight that as well because Brian just went there out of interest, and oftentimes we always hear people like the traditional route is like to always go onto portals, job portals, find a job, apply for it, wait for an answer, right? And like just let's just be honest here, it can be quite anxious. Like people can do get very anxious waiting and applying for so many jobs, and not sure whether they'll get anything back. But actually, we just want to highlight that sometimes we don't always have to go through this traditional route to land an opportunity anywhere. It can really be just someone you meet in an event, and it was just basically out of interest. So my advice actually is to just yes, follow your passion, follow your interest, and don't just sit at home and do nothing. Really just get out there, go into the field that you're interested in, meet people. Even if you don't meet your future employer, you you get to learn a lot on the ground on how it's like, and you also get to see for yourself whether this is the industry that you want to go into. You want to see whether like are you a right fit. So yeah, it really, and I mean, I think that honestly, from my experience as well, how I ended up Grenache, I actually met Lee Sing also at an event that I volunteered in. So honestly, it's just not Brian, it's also me. um yeah, I don't know like what kind of impression I formed with Lee Sing because I remember chatting with him as well. But yeah, so just saying that just get out there and don't just sit behind your computer screen all the time. It is important. It's definitely important, of course, to apply through. I mean, it's how we got to know Brian also is true. We asked him his resume and stuff, but again, first impressions always matter. Secondly, that was pretty long. But secondly, skills. So as you can see, I think you guys could notice that after we've introduced the team, it's not a lot. It's quite small. We are a startup for a reason, and so definitely skills is one thing we do look for when you apply. A lot of times we do see a lot of write-ups where people prove how much they're very passionate about the environment. um, we are appreciative of you sharing, and we definitely empathize, and we love that you are also passionate about the environment. However, we do most of the time when people apply, we know already that you are already passionate because joining a startup is not the conventional route. So what we will hope to actually see more of is actually to prove how capable you are for that specific role that you're applying for. And we want you to, give it your all. We want to see you, like we want to see what you do, share with us your achievements. Sometimes even going the extra mile helps. Like putting in your portfolio if you have to, even if it's not required of you. So
Basically, be extra.
be extra.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like how your position also is very extra. As in you do extra like more like other things, right? That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, because as what Esther has shared, like previously, obviously her application got lost in Lee Sing's emails. So so what is one way to make yourself stand out? That is something that it would be great if you can think about. If you have a lot of time, spend some time to do up a portfolio, a website, show photos. We want to see how you are, show a video even of yourself, because again, that is something that we will get to know you more, and we will see how you are like in person as well. So yeah, go the extra mile. Another thing also, this one is really by luck, is character fit. Because the startup team is really small, and as you can tell, because I interviewed Brian and Esther, the three of us really work really closely together. And so this may or may not apply for other sectors, whether it's in government or in corporate. For a startup, you need to be aware that whoever interviews you, right, most likely you're just going to be working with them very closely. And so
Yeah.
most of the time through the interview, right, we will also see whether like will we get along, can we work well together. And unfortunately, you can't prove that by grades or by how much achievement you've done. Yeah, so it's really also that luck, whether or not we can gel as a team and work well together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still remember my interview with Claire and Jeremy. It was like talking to a friend. I was like, I have to be careful. I cannot be too too cool and chill with them. I was like not professional.
No. You were professional. You were like decently professional enough. Yeah, we saw that in you. Don't worry. That's
Great
why
to
you're
know.
here. That's why you end up here. Yeah. But yes, I mean, at least for Green Nudge, we also try to make it how you say, we try not to stress you guys out. I mean, we've been there before in interviews, and yeah, we might come off as like chatting with you, at least just for Green Nudge case. I'm not saying that this is representative of everywhere. But yeah, we just want to see whether we can chat as well, and we just want to know how you think, what are your values, etc. Through that interview. Lastly, again, lastly, it's also being flexible and also being independent of guidance, because sometimes a lot of us get consumed with our role that we can't really always guide you all the way. And it does really take someone you have to put in some initiative. Like if you see any gaps in the company, just feel free to, if you feel like it, just feel free to just offer it up, because we will really appreciate it quite a lot. Yes. And Lee Sing will definitely appreciate you as well too. Yes.
He's always like, I got so many things to do.
Yeah. Yes, is there anything else?
Okay. I got.
Mm.
Remember our interview, like the sales interview process. Like you told us to write some proposal.
Yes.
Do you
Okay.
want to
Yes.
share why you did that?
Yeah. So I'm guessing Esther and Brian are wondering why we asked them to do that, especially when they didn't get to exactly do that when they were here and interning with us. So what the team actually got Esther and Brian to do is that we asked them a question as in we asked them to bring up a problem that they see in the environment in terms of relating to the environment. For instance, it could be food waste or plastic waste, and to think of a solution that you think that Green Nudge can do, like an activity that we can do to engage the community to address this situation. So I just hope Brian and Esther, you guys weren't very stressed out by this task.
It was not too bad. It was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we didn't really need an essay. Like we just wanted one paragraph, it's fine. And actually, the reason being was that we actually wanted to see how you guys wrote. Like we wanted to see like whether you're detail oriented, whether you can write decently, because as a sales intern, you'll be doing sales proposals, right? And these proposals will be given out to our clients. these proposals also include quotations, and that is very important. And you cannot like it, I mean, it doesn't look good if you screw it up and then you have to redo the proposal again, and it's really not
Yeah.
something. Yeah, so that's why it's not something we're looking for, and we're definitely we at least for this position, we wanted someone who's detail oriented. Also, because the team is small, a lot of times, I'm not sure if Esther and Brian mentioned this now, but we actually included our interns into our meetings in terms of discussing about activities. Like, should we organize this activity? Is there an idea that you guys might have? And oftentimes, like, yeah, we definitely, yeah. So being an intern, right, you're not like doing like the lowly work. Okay, like you're really like involved in meetings with us. Like you really play
Yeah.
an important role in forming the decisions of the company. And through
Yes.
this simple task, you just want to see like how do you think, and like we want to see like whether or not you know get your sources, like you're able to get your sources, like just as in sources meaning of sources of information out there. And we just want to see like how creative you are, how do you think, to see whether you are fit for our company in terms of like discussing ideas, for instance. Yeah. So just to relate it back, we know that this is specific to Green Nudge, but oftentimes, sometimes, just want to tell like any important like graduates out there that sometimes if someone asks you to do a task something like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that your answers need to be perfect. It doesn't mean that it needs to be something that can definitely be executed. There's always a motive behind that task, and we know that you're just an intern. Like we know that you're not like you have 15 years of experience of work. We just want to know how you think. Yeah. So
Yes.
Yeah.
again, yeah. So if you ever like apply somewhere and someone gives you a task like that, don't stress about it. Just do your best and just be creative and just be yourself. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so this is my last question to Esther and Brian for this topic. After all that talk earlier, what advice would you give to the next batch of youths or graduates before joining a green startup?
Okay, maybe I can go first.
Yes,
So
please.
yeah, so for me, I think my advice would be actually it's also advice for myself. So it's to start small and cast your net very wide. So like just now, like how I said, how I just attended a random event, supporting my senior and going for what I like. I attended it, and then I met Lee Sing, and that's how I landed myself in this internship. So actually, yes, I'll advise you to really attend anything that comes along your way. Yeah, be open-minded, and yeah, to be willing to explore to a lot of different kind of topics. So like what Claire said just now, get out there and go, and instead of like sitting at home. Okay, not literally per se during this COVID, but like attend stuff. Yeah, do
Stay
some
home, stay
things.
safe.
Yes.
Yes, caveat.
Yeah, but there are a lot of like Zoom meetings, like interest groups doing a lot of Zoom meetings, or
Yeah.
semi webinars. So all these, I feel like is good platform for you to like attend and like who knows do some networking. So I know it will be tiring and the success rate will definitely be low lah. I mean, I attended a few other events and I didn't meet Lee Seng at those events lah until the latest one. So like yeah, but if you don't try, then you'll never know lah. Yep.
Nice. Thank you, Brian, for that. Great advice. Yeah. Esther, how about yourself?
Okay, advice. Okay, so I think one very important thing is be ready to do all kinds of things. Because I signed up as a sales intern thinking that I'll just do sales, but in a startup, at least in Greenwich, that's not the case. I was doing marketing, I was doing writing, I was part of like so many meetings to help with like company directions or like future brand strategies as well. So you must be really ready to do all kinds of things. And also my first few days in Greenwich started with cleaning some beach cleanup tongs outside common ground with a bucket of water. And then and uncles that walk past, like, what is this girl doing washing this? It was very weird, but like you must I at that moment I understood that like if I don't do it, someone else in the team had to do it. If someone else in the team doesn't do it, Lee Sing will have to do it himself. So I understood like this was part of the process, like the whole process of the service that we provide. The service we provide is we help to conduct beach cleanups. And it's not always glamorous. Like this is the behind the scenes. Like you see us like, oh, bring people go to the beach and pick up trash and everything. But then we have to wash it, right? All the tongs that are being used. It's not always glamorous, but if you believe in the services that the startup provides, then you'll be up for anything. You will do it because you know that it's part of the process, it's part of the service. And if I'm not going to do it, someone else has to do it. So yeah, so that's my advice. Yeah, be ready to do all kinds of things.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Esther. That was really very, very heartening to hear. Yeah, that was really nice. Thank you so much, Esther, for sharing that. And it is really true. We are a team. That's for sure. And she's totally right. If someone doesn't do this, someone else in the team will do it, regardless of your position.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it is true that it really whoever joins the startup, yeah, it'll be great. It not necessarily always, but it'd be great that you have a purpose in joining a startup, especially one that works with waste and deals with on the ground a lot. So yeah, it's what Esther shared. Even a simple menial thing as cleaning your tongs is something also. It's also something very meaningful. And it really humbles you. It really makes you realize that it's not just on your computer all the time. This is not. University didn't train us for this, but it gives you a different perspective of what really building a company is all about. Yeah. So I just realized I haven't really checked if there's any questions on the ground. Okay, I guess not. No worries about that. For those who are those who tune in after this event, after this discussion, and you have a question, feel free to just continue to just leave it in the comments, and we will try our best to answer it, to answer them for you, when we see the comments. Yeah. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you, Esther and Brian. You guys have
No worries.
wonderful interns to the team. Really, really. I think Lee Sing also, who may be listening to us actually. I think he's very, very appreciative of the work that you have done for us, and we are truly grateful, and we really, really we're glad that you came on board with us, and we also want to wish you guys all the best for your future endeavors. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope to see you and stay safe. Take care, and hope to see you at our workshops, our events in the future when things are safer. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.